Hello everyone. Hope you've had a good weekend. As we generally do on Sunday, I mean, for the previous Sunday I could not do it because I was pretty busy, but back to doing the same thing. We're going to go through more or less all the charts, all the currencies, trying to figure out what they could be doing for the next week, the whole week, the higher time frame analysis, if you may. So first things first, let's jump right into it. Economic calendar. As you all know, if you've been going through the videos that have been coming out in the past on YouTube, you would know that I personally and what I preach is that you need the fuel to markets to be available for you to make money. What is the fuel to markets? We all know that's the economic events, right? So to begin with, on Monday, it's going to be a slow day. According to the economic event. Now, here's the thing. Here's the tricky thing. With the wars going on between Israel and Palestine, and then Iran and Israel, and then now Israel has also attacked on Iraq. So uh, it could move the markets, but we'll see how the price action turns out to be. If there's a new buyer, a new seller on a specific chart, blah blah blah. You all know the drill, right? Uh, But just looking at the economic calendar at the moment, Monday is going to be a slow day. There's just one news on CAD that is, I don't know what. I cannot. I really don't know what this means. There's some Eurogroup meetings, and then there's ECB president speaking. And then come Tuesday, we have some medium impact news coming out on Euro, Pound. Dollar has global services PMI, so this could move the markets, and nothing else much. And then on Wednesday we have Aussie CPI, so this could move the markets. And Aussie, uh, moving forward, we have again dollar durable goods, high impact news could move the markets. CAD has some retail sales that could move the markets, and a couple speeches on Euro, Fed GDP, Atlanta Fed GDP, and stuff like that could move the market. So Wednesday could be a busy day, and then Thursday, Aussie and Kiwi are holidays, but coming down to dollar, we have jobless claims, we have GDP, we have initial jobless claims. So this could move the markets during New York session, and then on Friday we have Bank of Japan interest rate decision. Uh, the thing about BOJ interest rate is it's a little tricky. It uh, at times it doesn't really move when the interest rate comes out. Waits for the press conference. The time provided for the interest rate at times is also wrong. So just be careful. Okay, just wait for the interest rate to do its thing, and then for you to continue with it. But let's jump right into it. I'm not gonna take a lot of time analyzing. Let's just go through the daily charts. Let's begin with the dollar. If you take a look at Aussie dollar, okay, so here's the thing. Aussie dollar is coming down to a very critical support, where the last time when the price came all the way down to here, it ranged for a very long time. This is a lot of days. Then it picked up the price from here, went all the way up to there on the weekly chart. I'm not going to go to the weekly chart. I mean, if you've been spending time on the charts, you should be able to figure out uh, if this is a weekly move or a daily move. This is very important, so keep that in mind. Okay, now in the meantime, we have a new seller on the daily time frame. So it could range for a while. I'm not sure. For me to be a seller again on Aussie dollar, I did take Kiwi dollar on Friday. I'm sorry, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Didn't trade Friday. Okay. Did take Kiwi dollar. Friday was 18th. Yeah, I did trade Friday. No, Friday was 19th. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused about time, but I did take Kiwi dollar, so it could range in here. For me to be a seller on this again. I'm going to need to see it range for a little while, then break on either side, right? Until then, should not be touching this. If you go to a lower time frame, of course the seller is trying to take the prices lower, but what about this rejection, right? You could not close below this support equals resistance. So come Monday, we could start to buy to turn to a seller later on. That's what I believe. Um, Euro dollar also in the seller's territory, in the seller's playground on daily, weekly, 240. But again, here's the thing, right? It ranged or channeled for a little while. As it broke, the price went all the way up to there, and then it pulled back and made a higher high. So until that point, this is where you're getting the better price. This is where people are turning to the wrong side in the market. So, and if you take a look at a lower time frame, again, the same thing has happened on Aussie dollar, right? What of this rejection? Could not make a lower low. In fact, this is a higher low. So come Monday, this could start to buy. Will not trade Monday. We'll see how the price goes on further during the week. At this point in time, I'm not entirely sure what this wants to do. Although on this time frame, daily or 240, you have a clear seller with a lower low. So it could come up into this area, turn around, go lower. But we'll have to see what the price action shows. Pound dollar, oh boy. So pound dollar, on the other hand, has a brand new seller on daily. This is looking very nice for the continuation of sells. If you take a look at any time frame, 240 daily, 60, you have a new seller. So we're going to need to see some pullbacks into hereabouts. Could go all the way up to there too. Don't know, but we'll have to see how the price action comes in. But this is also inside a seller. That means dollar strength, right? Moving forward, let's see. Kiwi dollar took this trade up in here, up in here. Now it's a downtrend seems to be continuing. Yeah, this is where the trade was taken, got out in here. Downtrend seems to be continuing, but the problem is this buyer that came in on Friday. Yeah, so I traded it Thursday. Yeah, traded it Thursday. Friday, this buyer came in, seems to be holding, so it could uh, want to do another attempt on buys and then go for sells. But if the buyer takes over the sells, then of course the price action will show us. So far, we're inside the seller's playground, so we cannot look to buy. This is indicating towards dollar strength at the moment. Dollar Swiss franc. Okay, yeah, this too. So this is one buyer bought in here, went all the way up to there. Even on the daily, you'd be able to see that this is one buyer that bought from here, made a higher high, just ranged around, and then a spike all the way down. That is, again, back up there, right? It's back inside the range actually. That little bit of a range that you see, you're back inside that range. So this is also pointing towards dollar strength for now. Price action shows us something different. We'll obviously take action accordingly. Um, Dollar CAD, I'm a little skeptical because of to the dollar strength because of all of this data, and then all the time that it took to get all the way up to there. Then this impulsive move to the buy side did come in with the news, I believe, but let's see. Not entirely sure. Although so far it still looks like it's inside this buyer's playground, so we'll see what happens. Still inside a buyer, so cannot look to sell on this chart either, right? uh, Dollar yen again, been buying for so long, and still inside buyer's territory. With the yen interest rate, it could just chop around for a few days, and then with yen interest rate, this could buy. Let's see. Okay, so this was about dollars. Dollar seems to be in a place where it should continue with the strength, but we'll see how the price action moves forward as the week progresses. Okay. The next one that we're gonna do is Aussie. Not a huge fan of Aussie CAD because both are commodity currencies. I've discussed it multiple times. I don't really enjoy trading commodity against commodity, but this looks to be holding, right? Aussie CAD, this looks to be holding. For it to turn into a sell, you're going to want to see this go through and then a pull back into this area to go lower. Or this could just turn around, but this is a complete seller, right? One seller that sold from up there and came all the way down to here. So this could just, turn from here to go lower. Looks like Aussie's going to be weak uh, with Aussie CAD. Aussie Swiss franc. Uh, Looks like a downtrend is starting and is going to continue, but the problem is this big rejection. This is a huge rejection that came in on Friday. I'm afraid of this rejection, but still inside this seller on 60, 240 daily. So let's see if it rolls over to go lower. Looks like Aussie is going to be weak on this too. Aussie yen also looks like this seller is holding. So again, as long as you're under this seller, you cannot look to buy. It's only after you go through this and we pull back to continue to go higher. Otherwise, if you see a bit of a rollover in it, although yen seems to be pretty weak, but if there's a bit of a rollover, breaks lower, any pullbacks into here are going to continue to go lower. So again, yen looks to be pretty weak, but Aussie yen looks like Aussie's going to be weaker. Aussie New Zealand, I'm not going to take a look at. Aussie dollar, we've already discussed. Looks like the downtrend is going to continue. Euro Aussie also. So this is 60 minutes. Let's take a look at daily. On the daily, it's inside this range, whatever you want to call it, head and shoulders pattern, uh, whatever. So for this to be a buy, I'm going to need to see it go through this and then pull back to continue to go higher. Otherwise, I'm not really interested. I do not understand what this wants to do, although there is a new buyer on this. So it could pull back into hereabouts and then continue to go, but then there could be selling pressure too because of what the price action is looking like at the moment. So I'll probably stay away from Euro Aussie for a while unless it breaks through all of this range. But looks like Aussie is going to be weaker on this too. Pound Aussie, more or less something like Euro Aussie. If you see this, all of this, although this buyer held, made a higher high. So this could be a new buyer that's introduced into the markets, but then head and shoulders, whatever, is just inside the range. Goes through this, pulls back, then of course we're going to look to buys. Uh, Goes through this, pulls back, of course we're going to look to sells. So again, confusing uh, price action, pound Aussie. Okay, done with Aussies. Going to take a look at CAD now. Mm, Already discussed about Aussie CAD. If it breaks through this, going to continue to go lower, turns around, which could take a while, then it's going to continue to go higher. Uh, CAD Swiss franc. Okay, again, uh, looks like the uptrend is continuing on this. The buyer did not want the price to go any lower than this. If you take a look at a lower time frame, looks like we've come back with a lot of strength with big rejection, but I'm going to need to see the prices go through this. As the prices go through this and then pull back, then the targets are going to be up in here because again, I'm going to explain it to you guys. In the process of all of this lower high, lower low sequence, this is the first time the buyer has challenged up in here. Well, it did challenge up in here too, but then the price action is showing you that a downtrend is coming into play after all of this up move. So all of this that started maybe down here is one move up because it's just higher highs and higher lows. The pullback begins in here, right? Lower high, lower low. This is the first time it pulls back, and then still pulling back on 240, but you've more or less challenged the last bit of sell, and then as it tried to sell aggressively, you've rejected it from down there, right? With all of this uptrend, this is a massive rejection, and then but what I'm going to need to see is the price go through this. As it goes through this, pulls back, The target's going to be up there. It's going to come all the way up to there if we go through this area. So look, this is looking like a very nice opportunity could set up on CAD Swiss franc. Okay. Uh, Gonna go through CAD. Yen's been buying for quite a bit now, but it's inside the range at the moment. So we're gonna need to see the prices go through this and pull back to go higher. Again, yen interest rate, it could do its weird thing and then turn around from here and then go higher. If by any chance, again, by any chance we break through this with force and then show some choppy pullbacks, then it could sell. But at this point in time, looks like CAD is going to be stronger than yen, much stronger than yen in the coming week. Euro CAD, yeah. So also in a critical area at the moment. Not entirely sure what this wants to do, but if you take a look at the bigger picture, it looks like that it's going to come down to here, maybe go through all the way down to there. Looks like it has already turned around, right? But for me, again, for me to be a seller, I am going to need to see the prices go through this, because all of this is one move that went all the way up to there. Although it's been chopping all the way down, there are no signs of buyers so far. But if the price breaks through this and then pulls back, then the target is going to be all the way down to there, just like CAD Swiss franc, right? So more confidence to CAD strength. Pound CAD should also be like CAD Swiss franc, and oh boy, okay. So Pound CAD on the other hand has done a big sell already, but again, it's all of this mess that confuses me. But looks like the sell is going to continue on this chart. Yeah, looks like the sell is going to continue on this chart. Could the price action could be a little tricky, but again, we'll see if it gives us an opportunity. All it looks like that CAD is uh, going to be stronger. Kiwi CAD, again, just like Aussie CAD, it has to come all the way down to here if it goes, but because it's so close to that support equal resistance, you cannot sell it and you cannot buy it because it's coming down in a downtrend from this bigger downtrend. So it's going to attempt a lower low. If it goes through this, pulls back, we're going to continue to sell it. Although I don't like trading Kiwi CAD, just like Aussie CAD, as I told you, but still, dollar CAD again. We've discussed it with dollar. So, but looking at overall CADs, looks like CAD is going to strengthen. So what I'm going to need to see is the price go through this. This would be a brand new seller as it be introduced into the markets. Any pullbacks into this is going to continue to go lower, very, very far. Okay, but be careful because dollar can also be strong. Okay, this was about CAD. Video is going to be a little longer because I'm going to try and cover all the currencies that I'd probably be looking at. Uh, Okay, euro dollar. Let's talk about euros. Euro dollar we've already discussed. We're gonna need to see the some sort of a rollover in here, or the prices bring in a new buyer, or break through this and then pull back to go lower. Euro CAD we've discussed just while talking about CADs. I'm hoping for the price to at least come down to here, if not all the way down to there. Euro Swiss franc. So Swiss franc seems to be in control here with this massive rejection on all the Swiss francs. So we'll see. The price needs to go through this, just like CAD Swiss franc. Needs to go through this area, and then a pullback is going to be for the buys. Euro yen. Yen is so weak, but I don't know. This buyer still in control could pull back into hereabouts. Then yen interest rate could take it higher. Euro New Zealand seems to be buying, but again, the problem is this seller in here, because all of this that started up here came all the way down to here is one sell, and you're still under this. So I'm not entirely sure what this wants to do. Now, Euro Aussie, we've already discussed it while talking about Aussies. Critical area needs to go through this to pull back to continue to go higher, or maybe break through this to the sell side, then continue to go lower, but confusing. So I'm gonna stay away. Euro Pound, I've been wanting to buy actually, but I did not really find an opportunity. I mean, there was an opportunity, but it was during Asia. I generally do not trade during Asia, because take a look at how simple and easy this is, right? This buyer goes through all of this range that was introduced by this seller, and then a pullback into the same area to go higher. This was a nice trade, couldn't take it. Anyway, looks like pound is going to be really weak. This was about euro. Let's take a look at yens. Okay, Kiwi yens. Looks like yen is going to be weak. Massive rejection from down here with this buyer. Could continue to go higher. CAD yen we've already discussed. Looks like it's going to continue to go higher. Swiss franc yen I'm not interested in, because Swiss franc is doing its own thing. Aussie yen, again, just like all the other yens, looks like we're holding. We've held this. We could continue to go higher. For me to be a seller on this, I'm going to need to see the prices go way lower. Way lower. Doesn't look very nice. Kiwi yen, I'm sorry, pound yen. Okay, so again, looks like all of this buy is still holding. We're still inside him. Cannot look to sell, although pound looks like it's going to be weak, but cannot look to sell this. Kiwi yen, same thing. Just discussed this. And oh, we've discussed Kiwi yen twice. So what are we missing? We have Kiwi yen, CAD yen, Swiss franc yen, Aussie yen, pound yen. Oh, euro yen. Okay. Euro yen. We've discussed it while talking about euros, so don't need to discuss it again. Looks like it's going to continue to go higher. Dollar yen. Need the price to come lower, then continue to go higher. But yen looks like it's going to be the weakest of the currencies. And let's quickly go through pounds. Pound dollar, already discussed. The downtrend is in play. I would love to see the prices come up into hereabouts and then turn around to go lower, but let's see. Pound Kiwi, I'm not really interested in because of how massive the spread is generally on Pound Kiwi, but it looks like this seller is coming back, so Pound Kiwi could break lower, continue to go lower. Pound yen we've already discussed. Yen is so weak. Pound Swiss franc looks like there is a new seller that has made a lower low, so the prices pull back into hereabouts to go lower. Pound CAD already gone all the way down to there, pull back to continue to go lower. Pound Aussie, just like Pound Kiwi, looks like it has rolled over. It could continue to go lower. Euro Pound we've discussed already. So that's pretty much about it. A little mixed sentiment about what any currency is going to try and do, but I'm going to look for yen weakness. I'm going to look for pound weakness. I'm going to look for CAD strength, probably dollar strength too. But we'll see as the week progresses. Anyway, cheers, guys.